You ever have one of those moments where someone shows you exactly who they are and you can't unsee it? That happened to me on a Tuesday evening in September, and it completely changed the trajectory of my life. I'm Brady Martinez, a certified welder. Been doing it for 11 years now, ever since I was 22. I specialize in oil pipeline work and industrial welding here in Fort Worth. Pull down about $28 an hour, plus overtime when the big contracts come through. It's not exactly rolling in money, but it's solid work, honest work. The kind that builds this country's infrastructure while most people sleep. We live in a decent 2-bedroom apartment in a residential complex near the refineries. The rent's $1,200 a month, which we split. My wife Chloe works sales at that BMW dealership on the north side of town. Her income's all over the place. Commission-based, you know how it is. Some months she brings home decent money. Other months it's barely enough to cover her car payment on that lease she insisted on. I thought we were doing okay, building something together, making plans. Hell, I'd even been thinking about us maybe starting a family in the next year or two. Turns out I was wrong about a lot of things. For weeks I'd been noticing little changes in Chloe. The way she'd gotten increasingly critical about our apartment, our furniture, our weekend plans. How she'd started making these comments about successful couples she knew. How she'd roll her eyes when I'd come home in my work clothes, covered in metal dust and welding residue. But the real red flag should have been how she'd started talking about her coworkers' personal lives. Rachel's boyfriend who just bought a house in Southlake. Lauren's fiancé who got promoted to some executive position. Monica's husband who traded up to a newer BMW every 2 years. Always comparing, always measuring our life against these other people I'd never even met. I should have seen it coming. Chloe was getting ready for her annual girls' trip to Las Vegas. Same crew every year. Rachel, Lauren, Monica, and a couple other women from her dealership. 4 days of cocktails, shopping, and apparently comparing notes about their husbands like we're some kind of reality show they're all watching together. She'd been planning this trip for months, talking about it constantly. The shows they'd see, the restaurants they'd try, the shopping they'd do. But what really caught my attention was how much money she was spending to prepare for it. New dresses, new shoes, appointments at that high-end salon downtown. I was sitting at our kitchen table Tuesday evening, going through the monthly bills like I always did. Credit card statement, utilities, rent payment, the usual routine of making sure everything gets paid and we're staying on track financially. But this month's credit card bill was significantly higher than usual. Most of it was Chloe's purchases from the previous few weeks. And there, right in the middle of a list of routine charges, was something that made me do a double take. Premier Beauty Spa, $450. Bars, $450. That was more than I made in a full day of welding, more than our electric bill. Hell, more than we usually spend on groceries in a week. "Hey babe," I called out. Not trying to start anything, just trying to understand our spending. "What's this spa charge for $450? She looked up from where she was organizing her Vegas wardrobe with that expression that was already annoyed, like I was bothering her with something trivial. "It's for the Vegas trip. I needed to get ready for the girls." $450 to get ready, I said carefully, keeping my voice level. "That's more than I make in a full day of welding pipe." She rolled her eyes hard. "Here we go again with the money lectures. You act like we're broke or something." "We're not broke," I said, looking at the numbers in front of me. "But we're not exactly swimming in extra cash either. I just think maybe we should discuss bigger purchases before we make them. You know, like a team." That's when she stopped what she was doing completely, turned to face me with this look I'd never seen before. Cold, almost disgusted, like I'd said something deeply offensive just by suggesting we communicate about our finances. "You know what, Brady? My friends think you're a joke. They think I married way beneath me. And honestly, they're right." The silence in that kitchen was thick enough to choke on. I just sat there, staring at her, trying to process what she just said. Not that she disagreed about the money, not that she thought I was being unreasonable about wanting to discuss large purchases, but that her friends, people I'd cooked dinner for, people I'd been nothing but respectful to, people I'd welcomed into our home, thought I was a joke, and worse, that she agreed with them. "Your friends think I'm a joke?" I repeated slowly, making sure I'd heard her correctly. "Yeah, they do. Rachel's husband just got promoted to regional manager at his consulting firm. Lauren's boyfriend bought her that new Mercedes you saw at the dealership. Monica's husband owns 3 rental properties. And here I am, married to a welder who questions every single purchase I make like we're living paycheck to paycheck. She said welder like it was something to be ashamed of, like the skills I'd spent over a decade perfecting, the dangerous work I do that literally keeps the lights on in her comfortable little world, was beneath her. Something embarrassing she had to explain away to her successful friends. I closed the credit card statement very carefully and looked at her. She was standing there with her hands on her hips, looking almost proud of what she just said, like she'd finally told me some harsh truth I needed to hear about myself. "So, that's how you see me?" I said quietly. "That's what you think of the man you married?" "I'm just being honest. You could do more with your life if you actually wanted to, but you're comfortable being this." She gestured at me like I was a piece of furniture she'd gotten tired of looking at. "You're comfortable being average." Average. That word hit different than the others. I'd been called worse things in my life, but never by someone who was supposed to love me. Never by someone who slept next to me every night, who'd promised to stand by me through better and worse. Something fundamental shifted in that moment. I stood up from the table, gathered all the bills, and put them in the folder where I keep our financial paperwork. My hands were surprisingly steady. My voice stayed calm. But inside, everything had just changed. "Well," I said, "I appreciate the honesty. Good. Maybe now you'll understand why I need this trip. I need time with people who actually have some drive and ambition. People who want more out of life than just this." She went right back to packing like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just told me she was embarrassed by me, that her friends looked down on me, that she thought I wasn't good enough for her. She was humming to herself, actually humming like she was relieved to have finally said what she'd been thinking all along. I walked to our bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, watching her fold designer clothes she'd bought with money we both earned. The irony wasn't lost on me. Here she was, packing for a trip, funded partly by the work she found so beneath her standards. That's when I knew this wasn't really about the spa bill or the credit card. This was about fundamental respect. And once respect is gone from a relationship, there's absolutely no getting it back. You can't negotiate your way back to dignity. You can't convince someone to value you if they've already decided you're a joke. But here's what she didn't understand. The joke wasn't on me. It was about to be on her. I pulled out my phone and texted my brother Shane. "Can I crash at your place for a while starting this weekend?" His response came back within 30 seconds. "Of course. Everything okay?" "It will be," I typed back. Chloe was still in the closet, holding up different outfits, probably imagining how impressed her successful friends would be with her fashion choices. She had absolutely no idea that she'd just said the last disrespectful thing she'd ever say to me. The trip she was so excited about, the one where she'd get to complain about me with her accomplished friends, was going to give her a whole lot more to talk about than she'd bargained for. I looked at the calendar on my phone. She'd be gone from Friday morning until Monday evening. 4 full days. That would be plenty of time to show her what a real joke looked like. Wednesday morning came quickly. She was up early, checking her luggage for the 3rd time, making absolutely sure she had everything she needed for her big trip. I made coffee like I always do, scrambled some eggs, acted completely normal, but while she was getting ready, I was making plans of my own. "You sure you don't mind me going?" she asked while checking her makeup in the hallway mirror. "Of course not," I said, and I meant every word. "You deserve time with people who share your values." What she didn't know was that I'd been up until 2 in the morning making phone calls and arrangements. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when you're properly motivated and you've got nothing left to lose. First call had been to my supervisor, Grant Williams. Grant's been in the welding business for 25 years, worked his way up from the floor to management. He's got that old school work ethic that doesn't tolerate bullshit, but he's always been fair with his crew. I told him I needed to discuss something personal, asked if we could meet before my shift Wednesday. When I explained my situation, not everything, but enough, just that I was going through a separation and needed a fresh start, he understood immediately. "We've got an opening at the Midland location," he said without hesitation. "Same pay, same benefits, probably more overtime opportunities with the new pipeline project coming through. It's about 45 minutes from where your brother lives. You interested?" "Very interested." "Consider it done. You can start there Monday if you want. Hell, Brady, you're one of my best welders. I'd hate to lose you to another company anyway. That's the thing about skilled trades. Good work speaks for itself, and reputation travels fast in tight-knit industries. Grant knew my capabilities, knew I showed up on time, knew I took pride in clean, strong welds. Unlike some people, he understood the value of expertise that you can't fake or buy your way into. Second call was to Shane. My older brother never asks too many questions, but he's always there when you need him. I told him exactly what Chloe had said, word for word. She said what? His voice got that edge it gets when he's genuinely angry. It doesn't matter now. What matters is I need help moving some stuff Friday morning. Can you round up a few guys? Already on it. Me, Wade from my construction crew, and probably Drew. We'll be there at 7 sharp. Shane works construction, supervises a crew of rough framers who've worked together for years. They're the kind of guys who show up when you need them, no questions asked. Blue-collar loyalty runs deep, something Chloe and her successful friends wouldn't understand. Third call was trickier. Our landlord, Mrs. Patterson, an older woman who'd always been fair but businesslike. I explained that I was moving out, but that Chloe would be staying until the lease ended in 4 months. She could handle the full rent herself, find a roommate, or break the lease and pay. The penalty. Not my problem anymore. "Are you sure about this, Brady?" Mrs. Patterson asked. "You two always seemed happy when you'd stop by the office." "Things change. I'll have my stuff out by Friday evening. The rent's paid through the end of this month." "Well, I hate to lose you as a tenant. You've always been reliable. Will Chloe be able to handle the full $1,200 a month on her own?" That was the million-dollar question, wasn't it? Chloe's BMW sales job brought in maybe $35,000 to $40,000 a year, depending on commission. After taxes, car payment, insurance, and all her shopping habits, she was barely contributing half our expenses anyway. But that was about to become her problem to solve. "She'll figure it out," I said. Thursday evening, Chloe was texting her Vegas crew, probably telling them how excited she was to get away from her disappointing husband. Fine by me. Let them have their fun talking about what a loser I was. They'd have plenty more to discuss by Monday. I started going through our belongings methodically. What was mine? What was hers? What we'd bought together. This was easier than I'd expected, actually. Chloe had strong opinions about everything in the apartment, and most of it reflected her taste, not mine. The welding equipment in the garage, definitely mine. Professional Lincoln Electric MIG welder I'd saved up for 3 years ago. Plasma cutter, angle grinder, all my specialty tools. That equipment represented my trade, my expertise, my ability to make a living anywhere in the country. The big screen TV in the living room. I'd bought that with overtime money from a pipeline job last year. 55-inch Samsung, nothing too fancy, but it was mine. Chloe barely watched it anyway, always on her phone scrolling through social media. The coffee maker, wedding gift from my side of the family. The good kitchen knives, mine, because I'm the one who cooks. She can barely make scrambled eggs without burning them. The leather recliner in the corner, purchased with my first welding bonus 5 years ago. Most of the furniture, though, all hers. The expensive dining room table, the decorative stuff everywhere. The bedroom set she'd insisted on buying from some overpriced furniture store. She'd picked it all out. I'd just paid for whatever she wanted to keep peace in the house. The complicated part was our joint bank account. I couldn't just empty it because that would cause legal problems later, but I could transfer exactly half to a new individual, account I'd opened Wednesday night. $12,400 total savings. Split down the middle, $6,200 each. Funny thing was, most of that money had come from my paychecks anyway. Welding paid steady, her sales commissions were hit or miss. But I wasn't going to be petty about it. Half was fair, even if fair meant I was being generous. "Babe, what time does your flight leave?" I called. "Out Thursday night. 11:30. I need to leave here by 9 to get through security. I'll drive you." "Really? Don't you have to work Friday?" "Called in sick. Figured I'd spend the day missing you." She actually smiled at that, probably the first genuine smile she'd given me in weeks. She thought I was being sweet and romantic, maybe even a little needy. The irony was absolutely incredible. Here I was planning the most decisive action of my life, and she thought I was being sentimental about her leaving. Friday morning arrived like Christmas morning when you're 8 years old. I was up at 5:30, showered, made coffee, acted completely normal, helped her load her bags into my truck, 2 massive suitcases for a 4-day trip. She always overpacked, but this time it worked perfectly in my favor. The more she brought with her, the less I'd have to deal with later. At the airport, she kissed me goodbye, like everything was completely normal, like she hadn't shattered our marriage with a handful of cruel words 3 days ago. "I'll call you when I land," she said, checking her phone one more time. "Have fun with your friends. I hope you all have lots to talk about." She didn't catch the tone. She was already thinking about cocktails and shopping and complaining about me to her successful friends. Perfect. I watched her walk into the terminal, rolling her designer luggage, heading off to spend 4 days with people who thought I was a joke. In a few hours, she'd be telling them all about our argument, probably laughing about how I questioned her expensive spa treatment. What they didn't know, what she didn't know, was that the real punchline was still coming. I drove home and called Shane. "She's gone. We're good to go. How you feeling about all this?" "Honestly, like I'm finally doing something right for the first time in months." "That bad, huh?" "Let me put it this way. I was actually thinking about suggesting we start trying for kids next year. Can you imagine bringing children into a house where mom thinks dad is a joke?" Shane was quiet for a moment. "Yeah, okay. We'll have you out of there by tonight." At exactly 1 o'clock, Shane pulled up in his pickup truck with Wade and Drew right behind him in Wade's work truck. These guys don't mess around. They showed up ready to work, wearing clothes they didn't mind getting dirty, bringing moving straps and dollies like they'd done this before. "All right," Shane said, surveying the apartment. "What's the plan?" "Everything in these boxes goes," I said, pointing to the neat stacks I'd organized Thursday night. "The TV, the welding equipment, my tools, obviously. I've got a list of everything that's mine versus what's hers." Drew whistled low, looking around the apartment. "Man, this is brutal. You sure there's no working this out?" "She told me her friends think I'm a joke and she agrees with them. Would you work that out?" "Hell no," Wade said, cracking his knuckles. "Let's load the trucks." It was surprisingly efficient. 11 years of marriage and my actual possessions fit into 2 pickup trucks with room to spare. Made me think about what really matters versus what you think matters when you're trying to build a life with someone who doesn't appreciate what you bring to the table. The TV was the biggest item. We wrapped it carefully in moving blankets, 4 guys handling it like precious cargo. This was the TV I'd saved up for and bought myself after completing a major pipeline contract in Louisiana. Worked 12-hour days for 3 weeks straight in 100-degree heat. Came home with enough overtime to treat myself to something nice. Chloe had barely watched it. Always said the picture was too bright, the sound was too loud, preferred scrolling through her phone anyway. But she'd definitely notice it missing. The entertainment center was going to look ridiculous with that big empty space. My welding equipment was next. Professional-grade gear I'd accumulated over the years. Lincoln Electric MIG welder, plasma cutter, angle grinders, specialty torches. That stuff represented my livelihood, my expertise, my skill. The same expertise she was apparently embarrassed by. "This equipment's worth serious money," Wade observed, helping me load the welder into his truck bed. "Good tools cost money, but they last forever and pay for themselves," I said. "Unlike some things." Shane caught the edge in my voice and grinned. "You're really enjoying this, aren't you?" "More than I probably should be." We worked steadily for 4 hours. Clothes, books, kitchen equipment I'd brought into the marriage, my computer setup, even my coffee beans from that specialty roaster downtown. If I had paid for it or it was mine before we got married, it went into the trucks. The apartment started looking strange as we emptied it. Not destroyed, not vandalized, just less. Like someone had carefully removed half of a life and left the other half perfectly intact. Her furniture was still there. Couch, dining table, bedroom set, all her decorative stuff. The place was functional, livable even, but it was obviously incomplete. "You leaving a note or anything?" Shane asked as we loaded the last box. "Already written." I pulled the folded paper from my pocket. Simple white notebook paper, my regular handwriting. Nothing dramatic, nothing angry. Just direct and to the point. "Hope your friends think this punchline is funnier too." "That's it?" Drew asked. "That's it. She'll understand." I placed the note on the kitchen table where she always dropped her keys when she came home, right next to where the bill stack used to sit, back when I cared about our shared finances and our shared future. The last thing I took was my coffee maker, the nice one, not the basic machine she'd had when we got married. I'd upgraded us to something that made quality coffee because I believe in doing things right. She could figure out how to make coffee with whatever she had left, or she could buy herself another $400 spa treatment instead. We did one final walkthrough. Her stuff looked lonely, without mine to balance it out. The entertainment center looked ridiculous with no TV. The kitchen counter had a conspicuous empty spot where my coffee maker used to sit. The garage looked cavernous without all my welding equipment and tools. Think she'll be mad? Wade asked. I think she'll be shocked. There's a big difference. Shane locked up with the spare key I'd left for him to return to Mrs. Patterson later. My key was going back too. I wouldn't be needing it anymore. We drove in convoy over to Shane's place, a small house with a detached garage where he runs his side business doing custom carpentry work. He'd cleared space for me in the spare bedroom and part of the garage. Didn't make me feel like I was imposing or ask how long I'd be staying. That's what real family does. You want to grab dinner? He offered after we'd unloaded everything. Yeah, but I'm buying. You guys earned it. We went to this barbecue place Shane likes. Nothing fancy, but the food is legitimate. We sat outside in the September evening, drinking beer and eating like we'd accomplished something important, which I suppose we had. So, what's the plan now? Drew asked around a mouthful of brisket. Start the new job Monday, find my own place eventually, move on with my life. Sounds simple. Should be. I've got skills, I've got savings, I've got family. What else do you really need? My phone buzzed with a text from Chloe. Having an amazing time. Vegas is incredible. Girls say hi. I showed the guys the message. You going to respond? Shane asked. What would I say? Glad you're having fun talking about what a disappointment I am. I turned the phone off. She could enjoy her weekend without any interruptions from the joke she'd married. Let her live it up with her successful friends. They were about to have a lot more to talk about than they had bargained for. The strange thing was how good I felt. Not angry, not bitter, just clear. Like I'd been carrying around this weight I didn't even notice until it was suddenly gone. For months I'd been feeling unsettled in my own skin. Like something was off, but I couldn't quite identify what. Now I knew. It's hard to be comfortable when your wife thinks you're beneath her. You seem different, Shane observed, watching me relax for the first time in months. More like yourself. I feel like myself. First time in a while. We finished dinner and went back to Shane's place. I unpacked a few essentials, set up my computer, called the utility company to schedule disconnection at the old apartment effective Monday, covering all my bases, making sure there were no loose ends that could complicate things later. Sunday, I spent the day organizing my stuff and mentally preparing for my first week at the new job location. I didn't think about Chloe much, except to wonder how she was explaining our marriage to her successful friends. Probably painting herself as the victim somehow, the long-suffering wife of an unambitious man. Sunday night around 8, I turned my phone back on to set my alarm for Monday morning. 17 missed calls, 23 text messages. She'd discovered her punchline. The progression was fascinating, like watching someone go through the stages of grief and fast forward. I scrolled through them chronologically, savoring each one. Text 1, sent at 6:47 p.m. I'm home. Where's all our stuff? Text 2, 6:52 p.m. Brady, this isn't funny. Where are you? Text 3, 7:15 p.m. I read your note. What the hell is wrong with you? By text 10, the tone had shifted from confused to angry. You can't just take half our stuff and disappear like some kind of child. By text 15, anger was giving way to panic. People are asking me questions I don't know how to answer. By text 20, full desperation mode. Please call me back. We can work this out like adults. Adults. There was that word again. Like adults don't face consequences for the things they say. Like adults should just forgive and forget when their partner humiliates them in their own kitchen. The voicemails were even better. I listened to a few of them while getting ready for bed. Voicemail 3, timestamp 7:20 p.m. Brady, I'm scared. The apartment looks so empty. I don't understand why you won't just talk to me. This is crazy. We're married. People don't just leave like this. Voicemail on 7, timestamp 8:45 p.m. I talked to Rachel about what happened between us. She said all couples go through rough patches. We just need to communicate better. Come home so we can fix this. Interesting how she was getting advice from Rachel, the same Rachel whose husband she'd used to make me feel inadequate just 5 days ago. Voicemail 12, timestamp 10:15 p.m. I've been thinking about what I said Tuesday night. I was wrong. I was stressed about money and I took it out on you. Your job is important and I respect what you do. Please come home. Too little, too late. She didn't say those things because she was stressed about money. She said them because that's genuinely how she felt about me, about my work, about our life together. The only thing she was sorry about was that I'd had the spine to actually leave. I deleted all the messages without responding and went to bed. Tomorrow was going to be a very good day. Monday morning, I started my new job at the Midland location. Fresh start, new coworkers, same work I'd been doing for 11 years, but in a place where nobody knew my story. The drive was longer, but peaceful, giving me time to think and plan. Grant had been right about the overtime opportunities. The new pipeline project was massive, and they needed experienced welders who could work independently. By Wednesday, they had already asked if I was interested in some weekend work at time and a half. During my lunch break Monday, I finally listened to the rest of her voicemails. The later ones were pathetic, really, begging me to come home, promising to change, saying she'd been stupid and selfish. But mixed in with the apologies were revealing moments of anger where her true feelings slipped through. This is insane, Brady. You're throwing away 11 years of marriage because your feelings got hurt. Grow up and come home so we can deal with this like rational people. Even now, even desperate and alone in an apartment she couldn't afford, she thought this was about hurt feelings. She still didn't understand that this was about respect, dignity, and basic human decency. The calls kept coming throughout the week, but I let them all go to voicemail. She tried different approaches: anger, sadness, bargaining, threats. She even had her sister Kelly call me, trying to play mediator. She's really sorry, Brady, Kelly said when I finally answered one of her calls. She knows she messed up. I'm sure she is sorry. Sorry she got caught showing her true colors. Can't you at least talk to her? She's been staying with our parents since Tuesday because she can't afford the apartment alone. That was interesting information. Her successful friends weren't stepping up to help with rent money, apparently. Funny how people who judge others based on income become protective of their own wallets when asked to put their money where their mouth is. 3 weeks later, I found out through Shane that she'd moved back in with her parents permanently and taken a job at a different dealership across town. Apparently, the BMW place hadn't worked out after she'd missed several days dealing with her personal crisis. As for her Vegas crew, Rachel had unfriended her on social media. Monica stopped returning her texts. Lauren was suddenly too busy to hang out. Turns out people who encourage you to look down on your spouse aren't very loyal when your life starts falling apart. 6 months later, I bought a small house with a detached garage where I could work on side projects. Started seeing someone new, a project manager for an engineering firm who understands what real work looks like and doesn't think success is measured by how much you spend on spa treatments. Sometimes I wonder if Chloe tells people about her marriage that ended over one comment. I wonder if she learned anything about respect, about not taking people for granted, about the difference between a partner and a paycheck. But mostly, I don't wonder about her at all. Turns out the best response to someone who thinks you're a joke is proving them wrong by building a better life without them. And the punchline? I'm happier now than I've been in years.